Okay, this is how the Reaper project looks like. So we got a bunch of tracks here. As we can see, there's a lot of them and a lot of automation as well. But we're gonna go one by one and see how this song was made. Let's begin with the drums. I think they're the most important part here, and we can solo the drum group. So all of the tracks go to the folder called drums mix, and here's how the drums sound. As you can hear, there is a distinct shuffle going on here, and this shuffle, of course, is intentional. That's how I programmed the drums. And the thing with this is, let me show you if I open up these MIDI files. There is no automatic, how do you say, humanization going on. I made this manually, all of these little offsets and this strange so-called drunken rhythm I made by hand. So you can again listen to it here. So it's really, really funky. And okay, let's go back and let's begin with the kick drum. I think that's a good place to start. So if we take a look, okay. So first, how am I getting my drums? That's a good question. So I use for this track Resamplomatic 5000, which is a built-in Reaper sampler. It's a stock plugin basically. And for this sample, I just put a decay shape like this. I want the kick drum to be shorter and to be sort of more defined, more precise, and that's what I did. When you're using Resamplomatic, make sure to decrease the attack to 0, because by default it's set on 1. I'm not sure why they do it, but make sure to set it to 0, because if it's 1, it will kill the transient a bit, which is what we don't want. Okay, so just a basic sampler here, and I had a couple of different samples that I tried out, but I went with this one. Next, I use Serum FX. This is the only, I think, paid plugin in this video. I only used Serum. All of the others are free or stock Reaper plugins. So because I have the Serum synth, I also use the Serum FX because I find them really handy, and I like the way you can align these, like rack units and stuff. It's really intuitive for me. So what I do for the kick is I just put some distortion, some soft clipping, and put some compression, and that's it. Next off, we have some EQing going on. I guess here I removed some honkiness or some unwanted frequencies. I also turned down a bit of 200 because of the snare. I don't want the kick to mask the snare, etc. And I brought up a bit of the attack here, and I brought up a bit of the highs as well. So that's it for the snare. Let's listen to it by itself. Yeah, it's nothing special by itself, but in the mix it works. Okay, so let's go on and see what's happening with the snare. I really like the snare. It's really punchy, it's really precise, and feels pretty good. So the snare is made up of 2 actually tracks. Let's look into the first one. So again, Resamplomatic. I use the sample, I cut it short. As you can see here, I played with the decay. Again, attack is on 0. This is very important for the transient to come through. Then next I use the Isotope Vinyl plugin, just to give it some saturation and some, filtering, stuff like that. Next off, Valhalla Supermassive, just the smallest amount here. And EQing, okay. I bring up a lot of the 100, what is this, 81 hertz, around 100. This is where the balls of the snare is. This around 100 hertz region. Without this, it sounds really thin and lifeless, and maybe even harsh. Also 200. This is a place that I boost a lot with snares. That's their fundamental frequency most of the time. Then I bring down the 500 and bring up some 1.5K. I bring up some 5K, some of the highs, yeah, just basic EQing moves. This might seem drastic to some people, but it's completely okay to boost a little more when it's necessary. Another EQ to add 1K to, I don't know, give it that, mid-rangey sound, I guess. Besides the main snare sample, we have the snare noise track, as we can see here. And that's basically just Serum. The noise oscillator or the noise sample player, whatever this is. And the envelope, I guess, is, it's really short decay. And next off, I do some filtering of the low end. I boost up some 300. Again, cut 500, the annoying boxy region. Boost 1.5K, boost 5K, and a little bit of the high end. And this is how it sounds. There's just a noise layer on top of the regular snare sample. We can hear the snare sample. And both of them together. Yeah, sounds pretty cool, I think. Next off, let's see the hi-hats. Yeah, I love those. They have a sort of an old school feel to them. Also, I love the swing. So anyways, we have the open hat and the closed hat playing at the same time. I know it's not the most, musically correct thing to do, to play the open hat and the closed hat at the same time, but I don't know, it sounds good for this track. I'm kind of open to experimenting and stuff. One is panned to the right, one is panned to the left, just to give it some openness and space. So yeah, this is again resample-matic. I do some EQing moves. Here I cut some 1.5K, bring up the presence area, and filter the very, very highs. This is the other hi-hat, and it's just a sample as well. And in the EQ, we can see that they complement each other. So I cut the lows in the second hat, and I bring up the highs. They work well together. And yeah, I give it some additional filtering with the Mia border plugin. This is just a high-pass filter. That's it. And for the first snare, back to the first, hi-hat, we have some reverb. This is as well a free plugin. It's old school verb by Voxengo. It works pretty well. And some Serum effects again. Let's take a look at those. We have a delay here, and that's it for the hi-hats. Let's again hear the hi-hats. Okay, let's hear them with the snare and with kick. Yeah, sorry for the noise. My computer is overheating when I'm recording the screen, but yeah, it's cool. So next off, with the drums, we can take a look at, for the kick, I have a distortion track. So the kick is being sent to the distortion track here, as we can see, and it just adds some more grit to the kick. You can see I use this free guitar amplifier, and I use it with the cabinet. Then I add some additional distortion with this plugin, the Analog Obsession plugin, some OTT, some impulse response to shape the noise, to shape the distorted kick, some gating to make it shorter, not to make it all long and squishy, whatever. and some EQing to get rid of unnecessary frequencies. That's it. So the kick is has this parallel distortion track. For the kick reverb, I'm not sure what this is. It's some sort of a reverb. Let me see what. Okay, so the kick and snare are being sent to this, so this should be called, let's say, kick and snare verb. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm even using this reverb. What the hell? Nah, this is just some bullshit that I don't need, so I'm gonna delete it. Yeah, so the drums mix has, of course, some effects on it. First off, OTT. It's not a best practice to use OTT on everything, but I found it sounded pretty good on this track, so I guess I used it, but I'm getting more and more out of using OTT on everything. I think, yeah, it's not a good idea to use it all the time. And some wave shaping, but I think this is just the smallest amount of analog clipping going on here. Next off, Cymatics Origin. This one is huge. This is a free plugin that I love. This gives you that lo-fi saturation and filtering and some more stuff like chorusing, tape movement, tape noise, stuff like that. It's a really good lo-fi making plugin, a lo-fi maker if you want so. And anyways, I love this plugin called Gritty MPC Drums, and I lowered the noise, I turn off the chorus, turn off the movement, and just put some saturation here, 14%. Sounds pretty good. The Cymatics Origin is really good. So the next plugin is the Tube Saturator. This is also a free one. Sounds pretty good. It does some saturation, of course. And we have a really important thing here. It's a trick with gating. So basically, all my drums, of course, go to this track, and I gate everything with this gate. Why do I do this? So the point is to gate the drums so they sound more precise, more striking, and you know, more, maybe you can say modern in a way, because they don't splash around. They just have really short and focused attacks. And anyways, I like how this sounds. It sounds pretty good. So to finish everything off, I just high pass everything at 62 Hertz, and keep in mind that this is not a really hard high pass. I think this is a really moderate slope here, maybe like 12 dB per octave or something like that. And also I low pass filter everything at 7.5 kilohertz, just to give it that lo-fi feeling. And that's it for the drums. Okay, once again, let's hear the entire drum kit. Let me show you without the gate how it sounds. It's really splashy, really with long decays and stuff, but I wanted to make it precise, make it really short. Let's see how it is with the gate. It's really punchy. Also, see here that I automate the high pass frequency on the Mia border filter, and as you can see, when the drop hits, I bring back more of the highs, and when the verses are playing, I tame the highs a little bit, as you can see. And in the second part of the song, I open up the drum kit a lot. You can hear it here. Without the gate, it sounds like old school hip hop, and I didn't want that. I wanted something more modern, something more punchy. Anyways, that's it for the drums. Really, there's quite a bit going on here, but the main thing is the humanized rhythm, the shuffling that's going on with the drums, and the transient shaping with the gate. It's not even transient shaping, it's just making everything play shorter. And that's it. Let's go on to the second most important element, and that is the guitars. Let me just find them. So here we can see all of the guitars, and let's play them first. So this is just a guitar recording that I played, just recorded it with a SM57, I think. It's an old guitar, old cheap Chinese guitar that I own, just played a couple of notes here and that's it. Besides this, we have this part here. Yeah, that's it for the guitars. Now let's see how I processed these. That's really interesting. What gives them this lo-fi feel. So for the individual tracks, nothing but really basic EQ here. Here, nothing. We can remove this. Basically, not much going on for the individual tracks, but for the parent track, we can see how we achieve that lo-fi effect. First off, some basic compression. There's a lot of compression going on. That also gives it sort of a lo-fi feel as well. Now some EQing, filtering for the lo-fi effect, and the most important one is the cymatics origin. And as you can see, I use the drifting preset here. I probably adjusted something here, but we can see that there is some chorusing going on, there's some movement, there's some saturation, there's some tape noise, and there's some filtering, of course, and it sounds pretty good. You can see without it. With it. So good, right? And next off, some EQing, getting rid of unwanted frequencies here and here, getting rid of the unnecessary subs, and some more filtering here, getting rid of the unnecessary low end. That's it for the guitars. You can see that I automated the cymatics origin resample frequency here to cut off some of the highs and then bring them back when the drop happens. You can hear it. It's really satisfying. And now let's see what this track is all about. Okay, these are the effects. So basically I'm sending the halftime, I don't know why I call this halftime, by the VST effect in FL Studio, I think. That's something that I wanted to achieve with this, something like that, but I don't know why I called it this, to be honest. It's just a guitar. So anyways, this track is sending to this halftime effects. And what's happening here is really important. You can see without the effects it's pretty boring. And with the effects there's a lot of going on here. First off, the delay is going into the reverb is going into the phaser to color it a bit. Next off, cymatics origin to color the reverb and delay. EQing to get rid of unnecessary frequencies, and some more filtering, and that's it for the effects. These two tracks, they don't have much processing going on besides of the parent track. Here we have some compression to glue all of the guitars together, and we have some EQing to boost some frequencies, basically boost 1.5K. This is a pretty lo-fi frequency for me. And boosting some of the 200 and some of the highs. I'm not sure why I'm boosting around 200, but yeah, whatever. Anyways, sounds pretty good. Let's this is the parent track once again, and on it we have some OTT, again OTT. We have some EQing, and we have some effects, which is the dimension expanding that's going on here, and some chorusing and some reverb. That's it for the guitars. Let's hear this part once more. Yeah, there's some more guitars up here called Top Melody, and they're playing with this part here. You can see how it sounds. Yeah, so I do some automation here of the resonant low pass filter, and for the delay wet amount, I do some automation here to make it hit harder on the drop, on the first beat. And let's see what I do with these melodies. So they're panned hard left and hard right, as you can see here. And let's see what's the processing. So again, we have EQ. We're accenting the very high end, the air. The first Serum effects is the dimension expanding and some, I guess this can be considered chorusing, and I have some delay. Next off, I'm not sure why I didn't use this here, but yeah, whatever. I have 2 instances of Serum effects for no reason. Anyways, I have some Hall reverb here, and I have some cutting of the low end. This is the high end, I think, for automation, and I have a resonant low pass filter, and that's it. So I don't think we have any more guitars, or do we? Yeah, we do. We have some guitar fills as well. So these are some fills that happen at certain times in the song, like this. Let's see what I did with these guitar fills really quick. So there's a lot of processing going on here. First off is some compression. It's really subtle, I think. Next, OTT, again OTT. Some pretty drastic EQing, some clipping, Serum effects. We can see we have some filtering, which is not on. I can turn it off. We have some reverb, and we have some delay. The reverb is going into the delay. Next off, we have some wave shaping. We have some proto-verb. This is a reverb plugin from Yuhi. I don't know how do you pronounce this, but anyways, this is a free plugin. Sounds pretty good, pretty, as you can tell by the look, pretty retro sounding. Semantics origin, again, the MVP, the unstable preset with some tweaking, some EQing, again filtering, and again filtering once more, the high end. And yeah, there's some automation going on here as well. I'm automating the high pass filter on the border plugin. There's also some volume automation going on. I don't think there is any here. I don't know, we probably don't need this. Yeah, it's turned off. We have some automation going on here. It's really little things like this, they add to the feeling of the track and to the musicality. Anyhow, that's it for the guitars. So we have guitar fills, we have guitar top melody, which is this in the second part of the song, and we have the guitar main. Those are all of the guitars for this song. Okay, so besides the guitars, the guitar fills, the guitar top melody, and the guitar main, we have some more musical elements below, and these are those. So we have here some, I think this is some strings. No, this is a plucky sound that goes on in the verse. And it's pretty complex actually. It's OBXD, marimba preset, it's Serum, another Serum, and Dext. It's like layered, it's like 4 sounds in one. It's crazy. No, it's actually 5 sounds. There's a lofi light as well. So this is crazy. Everything is free besides Serum, of course. We have some heavy filtering going on here, and we have some Serum effects, delay, reverb, and again some filtering and narrowing down of the frequency range. Here's how it sounds. Next off, we have some strings. They consist of 2 tracks. Let's see what they are. It's the FB799 free plugin, and Semantics Origin again, mellow preset, and the second part is Serum, and again filtered. Let's see how Serum sounds. Sounds pretty synthetic. And this one sounds more analog, more stringy if you want. Also there's some automation going on here of the volume, and that's it for the strings. Next off we have some pads for the ambience. Let's see how they sound. As you can see, they're being sidechain compressed by the kick and maybe the snare as well. I'm using the Shut the Fuck Up plugin, which is a free one. And let's see, yeah, the kick is actually doing the ducking, and it's working on note on. The kick's MIDI note is triggering this Shut the Fuck Up plugin, and it's basically ducking the volume of the pad. I don't want the pads to interfere with the drums. I want the drums to be extra punchy and in your face for this track. Not really in your face, I want them just to be, you know, defined. These pads are pretty much in the background, if you want, in the very, very background. I do some volume automation as well. I do some lowering of the volume, and then I bring it up on the drop, and that's what happens again here. And again, we have some volume automation here. There's a lot of automation in this project. Some more here. So yeah, that's it for the pads. And that's it for the what I call the music bus. Let's see the parent track, what it has. So the parent track only has some tube saturation, that's it. It's pretty subtle in my opinion, and that's again to give it some more saturation and give it some more lo-fi feel. Next off, let's look at the bass, which is a guitar that I played. There's a lot of bass guitar tracks here. Basically, there's no effects going on any of those except this one. I cut off some of the low end here. It's probably too boomy or something. So this is the bass guitar that I played. It's a Fender Jazz. I played it into an amp simulation. Sounds pretty good in my opinion. And there's some automation here going on as well, some volume automation and some low pass automation here. Again, in the second part of the track, everything opens up, as well as the the drums and the bass. Everything opens up. Let's see the processing. It's pretty basic. There's some boosting of the 100 Hz, some cutting of the subs, of the really sub frequencies, some cutting of the 300, and subtle boost at 2K for some definition and attack. Also, I have a parallel distortion track for the bass here. It's being camel crushed. This is an old plugin that I like to use from time to time. I've been using it for very long. It's also free. Some impulse response for the shaping of the noise, filtering again, and filtering once more. And that's the bass guitar basically. Let's hear how it sounds. Here. Sounds pretty vintage. That's what I wanted to do with it, so it's cool. So we went through the pads, through the strings, this pluck sound, the guitars, bass. That's pretty much it for the music. One more element that I want to show you is the effects mix. So I use a couple of effects for this track. Let's hear them. This is a high-end shimmer from Serum actually. It says Podolsky here, but I changed it to Serum. I guess it sounded better. Some Serum effects, lots of effects because it's a background thing, and some EQing as well. Here we have a cymbal, a crash, sounds pretty good. We have a reverse into it. I don't know what's the processing here. Let's see there's some effects here, some EQing as well for the reverse, some effects as well. I think they're the same as the cymbal effects. And yeah, another cymbal here. It's kind of a 909 cymbal. Some filtering and the proto-verb. Sounds pretty good. So that's pretty much it. There's some effects automation here. As the track progresses, the effects get louder, and nothing fancy here. So we went through the effects, through the drums. This is an 808 that I didn't use. I just left it here for, I don't know, whatever reason. We have the bass guitar, we have the pads, the strings, the pluck and guitars, and that's it for this track. There is one more thing when it comes to lo-fi that we hear pretty much in every track. That is the rain. So this is the rain that I recorded with my phone. This is how it sounds. It's pretty low. Let me show you here. Yeah, I just recorded this with my phone outside. It was raining one day and just pulled up the phone, and yeah, this is what I came up with. And also you can see here that I automate the rain volume a lot. So on the drops, I make the rain a bit louder again, and yeah, it gets louder as the track progresses and gets the loudest at the end, and then fades out. That's pretty much it. Let's see the effects. Just basically cut out the low end and use some old school reverb on it, and that's it. It's mixed pretty low with the track, but yeah, that's it. For the master, let's see what's on it. We have some limiting. It's very subtle. It's not like mastering. It's just a mix bus limiter, just really a couple of decibels, not much. Next off, isolate. I love this plugin. This allows us to, for example, focus on the low end or focus on the mid-range to see the stereo field, you know, to see the middle, how it sounds. We can solo the left, solo the right. It's a really great plugin. I love it. It's free. It's pretty cool. Looks pretty good as well. Span. I use this all the time to visualize all my stuff. Wave Shaper, I use the initial preset without any processing, just to look at the shape of the waves and how everything fits together. Is sometimes useful, for example, when you're working the kick and the bass, and to make sure that they don't overlap. You should listen to it for it, and also check visually. That helps me. And yeah, last off, the Ozone Imager for the stereo field. These are mostly analyzer plugins here. Yeah, pretty much. And some really subtle limiting. That's it for this track. As you can see, a lot of stuff going on. It's a pretty simple one, but still a lot of things are necessary to make a really cool sounding track. And yeah, as you already noticed, up here I have the regions set up for the different parts of the song. And yeah, that's pretty much it. One more thing here that you might have noticed in the second part of the song, the BPM changes from, what was it? From 110 to 180. That's a quick little switch up that happens here. And yeah, this is a lo-fi track that's not really typical, and yeah, hope you learned something, hope you get inspired to use Reaper even for hip-hop. You can use it for everything. It's really a great DAW. You have everything you need. And with the free plugins, you can achieve basically professional results. It's pretty cool, if you ask me. Yeah. That's it for this one, and subscribe to the channel, and see you next time. Bye.